Hey there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittany Bundles, and today's video is going to be going over different strategies that I use if my customer wants to discuss refunds, if they aren't satisfied for whatever reason. I did get a question on my website, keepingupwithbrittany.com, asking how I would handle customers that are not satisfied. And I recently came into a scenario where I sent out hair and my customer ordered lengths that were like on a sliding scale, meaning like 18, 20, 22 or 20, 22, 24. And I mislabeled the lengths. I think one of the bundles didn't have a sticker on it with the label. It must have come off when I was putting the orders, like putting the bundles together, getting ready to ship them out. And she took them out the package, and I'll go over the video, the whole scenario later on in the video. But there weren't any quality concerns or anything like that. It was primarily going over the lengths. She was unable to see the sliding, like the length differences. So I responded back to that email explaining how I handled that particular situation. But there are going to be things that come up in business occasionally, especially the longer you stay in business. You may have someone that's not satisfied with your shipping time frame. I've had customers that opted to not have a signature delivery. The hair was delivered and they stated that they didn't receive the package. So I had to take additional steps to figure out how to solve that. But being an entrepreneur, a lot of it's going to be making sure that you can be a problem solver, that you're solutions based. Because one thing for certain, everything's not always going to run as perfectly and as smoothly as you want it to run. That's with any business. And so you want to make sure that you have policies and procedures, and also that you're sure with your business and yourself so that you know how to confront those issues head on and make sure that you're providing a resolution that your customer and you are both satisfied with. So that's what I'm going to be going over today. Again, if you have any questions, and I'm saying again because I've mentioned this in some other videos, any questions that you want me to go over or make a video in regards to, you can leave a comment down below. You can contact me on my social media platforms, or you can also go to my website, keepingupwithbrittany.com. You can scroll to the bottom. There is a form. You can type in your question, the video idea that you have, and then you can please put YouTube like in parentheses somewhere so that I know what this is for, because I also have people on like Patreon and different platforms that also are using the website. So I just want to make sure that I'm keeping everything as streamlined as I possibly can. But if you are interested in this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Please make sure that you are subscribed, and let's get right into the video. So like I mentioned, the question was, hey, how do I handle customers that aren't satisfied with the product that I send out? I don't offer refunds, so what else can I do? So I want to start off by explaining one of my recent scenarios. So like I mentioned, I sent out bundles. I think they were 18, 20, 22. This is a very valued and longtime customer. Haven't had any issues working with her. She hasn't had any issues with me that she's let me know about, and everything's been great. I've been working with her for years, even when I had my salon. And so everything's been fine. Recently, I sent out orders, and one of the stickers must have been off of one of the bundles. Either it came off when I placed the bundles in my section to go ahead and when I was sorting the bundles and going to send them out to my customers. Maybe they came off when they were going into the actual envelope. I'm not sure when the sticker came off, but it wasn't one of the labels, like for the lengths, weren't on the bags. And I know that because she sent me a picture of it. So I'm not going to say like, no, I know for sure that because I could have put the sticker on there and it could have come off. There's a lot of different hypotheticals, but it is what it is. The sticker was not on the bundle when she got it. She sent me a picture and showed me that. And then her concern was the lengths weren't, like all the bundles looked like they were the same length. And I wanted to make sure that I did my thorough research. So I did ask her, because I could see in the picture that she sent me that the bundles were lined up like out of order. And that wasn't her fault. I'm not placing the blame on her at all. But, you know, because there wasn't a sticker on some of the bags, it could have just thrown everything off, you know. And I know when you're ordering or when you receive any type of curly texture hair, all bundles are not exactly identical. Well, even though they have a similar curl pattern. So it's best if you're wanting an accurate length, if you're ordering like kinky curly or deep wave extensions, to stretch out the lengths and compare them that way so that you can see the true lengths. Because being in that bag, after it goes through the heat processing, some of the hair may curl up tighter than another bundle, even though when you stretch it out, like kind of like how our natural hair is. Like right here, my hair may not look true to length, but if I stretch it out, like it's down here. You know what I mean? Like shrinkage is real. So that's what you may encounter some of those things when you are dealing with kinky, curly, and curly hair. So when I got the email, I first wanted to make sure that I fully understood what the concern was. And that's my first tip. Fully understand what your customer isn't happy with, acknowledge, empathize, apologize, let them know that you are the right person. It goes a very long way when you, number one, understand what your customer is wanting, what your client is asking from you, what they're not happy with, what they are happy with. So I wanted to get a clear understanding of what was going on. Now, she did mention in that email that her birthday was coming up and she couldn't exchange the bundles, which I would be more than happy to do. That would be one of the resolutions if you don't offer refunds that you could offer as well. But if it's something like their birthday is like the next day and they're not going to have time to exchange the hair, they still want to wear the hair, but they're not happy with like the lengths, then there's, other ways that you can try to problem solve, but you want to first let them know that you understand what the issue is. Even if you know it, don't assume that they know that you know what they're concerned about. So you want to make sure that you're first letting them know in your correspondence that you understand what their concern is. You don't have to necessarily say straight out, I understand what your concern is, but just in conversation, however you want to do that, be creative and be professional, you can go ahead and do that. I also want to mention, this is not a time for you to get defensive. I've seen so many people that get defensive with customers that have been with them for years. This is a value customer to me. All of my customers are valued, but specifically people that have worked with me for years, I really care about my customers. So knowing that we haven't had any type of back and forth about, she has contacted me before regarding shipping, wanting shipping to be faster or signatures to be taken off or, things like that. But it's never been an issue with any of like the lengths, the quality, anything like that. The wrong texture being ordered or received, nothing like that. So I wanted to make sure that, because like I said, this is kind of like new. This was a new experience for her. I wanted to make sure that she understood that I'm not putting the blame on her. Okay. A lot of people will reach out, and I've worked with people during consultations. I've worked with people with their business, and I see how people contact or respond to their customers. And a lot of times it's kind of like placing the blame back on them. Like, no, I put the sticker on the bundle, so you must have taken it off, or the sticker was there when I sent it out, instead of being open to the fact that maybe you did place a sticker on it, maybe you didn't. Maybe the sticker fell off when you placed the bundles in the bag. Maybe it fell off when you placed the bundles on your sorting table. There's a lot of hypotheticals, but making sure that you take accountability. It's okay to make a mistake. Again, as long as you are able to find a solution, okay? And let them know that they have the right person. So instead of saying, well, I didn't send out the bundles, my cousin was helping me with the bundles, so let me check with my cousin and see what she has to say. You can always ask them for a moment to research and kind of figure out what may have happened. I also asked her for a moment to dive into the issue further because I wanted to know like what happened. Did she get the wrong lengths? I also wanted to be able to have a different picture where the bundles were sorted in a way that I was hoping that I would be able to see if the lengths show like a, gradual layered effect. And I was hoping that if they did, she would be able to see that as well. So while I was waiting for her correspondence back and waiting for the pictures back, I looked through my inventory. I looked through the orders that I sent, that I ordered from my vendor. I looked at what I had in stock. I looked at what I sent out, and I confirmed that she did have the right textures, not textures, lengths. But does that mean that there couldn't have been a mistake somewhere? Maybe my vendor sent me, maybe they said it was, a certain amount of 18s, certain amount of 20s, and maybe one of the 18s were really two 20s. Could that possibly happen? It could. So instead of coming to her and saying, no, I know that I sent out what I had labeled as 18, 20, 22. I don't know why you can't see it. You don't want to address it that way. You want to make sure that you're being very respectful, professional, and you're wanting to put yourself in the customer's shoes. And apologizing doesn't mean necessarily that you did something wrong, but it means that you're apologizing for how your customer feels. what they're going through, how they're perceiving what happened. Even if you don't necessarily see what they're referring to, it's okay to say, I'm sorry that you feel that way. I'm sorry that this is your experience. I'm sorry, that you didn't get that you're not satisfied with your order, So that's the first tip. The second thing that I would recommend doing is troubleshoot. So like in my circumstance, one of my troubleshooting measures was to go back through my inventory, go back through my orders, see what I sent out, just double checking everything. And again, it lined up in my system. Another thing was to have her send a picture lining up the bundles and also doing one of those strand tests that I referred to in the beginning of the video, where you pull down the deep wave bundles and you can kind of see, or you should be able to see the true length of the bundles without it being curled up. And so those are some troubleshooting methods that I went through. Now, she did end up sending me the picture back, and she wasn't able to see the difference in lengths. I was able to see them. She wasn't. But at that point, instead of going back and forth and saying, no, you don't see it here, I see it, I know, I'm not going to do that, especially this being that this is a longtime value client, customer of mine. I'm going to do what I can. So I let her know that I'm sorry, and I offered her a discount. Now, if you can't do any exchanges because the customer or client has already put the hair in and installed it, if you're not doing any refunds because that goes against your policy, you can look to offer a discount off of their next purchase. And that's exactly what I did. What I like to do is I like to ask, would you accept 15%, $25, 10%, whatever you're wanting to offer, will you accept this off of your next order? And then see what they say, because I still want to make sure that we're at a meeting of the minds and that they feel like their issue has been resolved, versus me saying this is the only thing that I'm going to do for you and be happy or not. You know what I mean? Like, I've been treated poorly in customer service before, where I have reached out to companies and I pretty much got like the vibe of, well, this is what it is. So you either accept it or you don't. Like, we have, sorry, I'm trying to fix my shirt. We have plenty of other customers. You're not the only one. And I felt like, golly, like, I know I'm not the only one, but I thought that my dollar valued, I thought my time valued, I thought my returning presence to your business mattered, so I don't want anyone to feel like they don't matter. Okay. The third thing that I would recommend is offer solutions. So I kind of went over that already. Exchanges, discounts. You can also look at sending out like a complimentary gift, a gift card. There's a lot of different things that you can look into. If a customer doesn't accept a discount and they don't want an exchange, at that point, you'll have to look at and see what else you could possibly offer. I would first make sure, like, ask them, what would you like to see? What would your ideal resolution be? And if they say, hey, I want all my money back, or I want a refund, then if you don't offer refunds, I would kindly state we don't offer refunds. However, I am more than happy to send pictures of what we send out next time to you before I actually mail them out, and wait for your confirmation before I actually send them to you, so that you know exactly what you're getting before it reaches you. Just trying to think of other ways that you can problem solve. If the customer and client at that point is still like, no, I don't want it, no, then at that point, I would apologize again. And I would say, well, those are the options that I have at this point. I do wish to continue doing business with you. Please let me know if any of the options will be of assistance to you now or in the future. But again, you don't necessarily have to go around your policies. If you don't offer discounts, you don't offer discounts, especially if it's something where it's not an issue of quality. It's not an issue of, they receive like the wrong textures or anything like that. Even if they receive the wrong textures, if they're wearing the extensions and decline the exchange, I personally wouldn't go to a refund. The only time I would consider a refund, the only time is if, let's say, like a horrible quality type of concern. And even then I would push for an exchange so that I can expect the hair, because one part too with being an entrepreneur is not just whether you believe the customer or you don't, but it's also, for me, I want to make sure that if there's an issue, I get it fixed. So if you're receiving a bad batch of hair, I want it back so that I can also show my vendor. You know what I mean? I want it back so that I can also show whoever was helping me that day with the orders. Let's say someone else was helping me. I want to be able to show them, okay, hey, this bundle should not have been sent out. These are the things that you need to look for next time you are working with me. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like a learning experience too. And then it holds my vendor accountable. I don't expect my customers to go to my vendor. I expect them to come to me, but I'm a customer of my vendor. So I expect my vendor to make it right with me too. That makes sense. The fourth thing that I want to recommend is be professional, remain professional. A lot of people look at concerns or like if a customer reaches out to them as a personal attack or dig on them. Like, I don't know why this person is just picking with me or why this person's reaching out. If you go on Facebook and you see a lot of people that own businesses and you read some of their posts, sometimes you'll be like just completely at a loss for words, because you'll be like, how are you looking at this issue like that? I know we all have different perceptions, but people get very, very offended and very mad and take it very personal instead of looking at it at a business aspect. If someone pays their money, they're going to want what they paid for. If someone is investing their time, reaching out to you, they're going to want a resolution. If someone has been working with you for years, they're going to want to make sure that they're treated as such. And so it just goes back to common courtesy and not being offended over every little thing. I take my business personal, but only to an extent. Like, I don't think if a person has an issue with my product or service that they hate me. You know what I mean? Even though I'm the representative of the business, I still keep it professional. And when I have an issue with a company, I don't hate that person that I'm working with. I may hate the issue and the product that I received or the service that I received, but it doesn't have a direct impact on that person, if that makes sense. Like, it has an impact because the person is representing the company, but it's not geared personally at that person, if that makes sense. So I think if we all can just keep in mind that this is a business, we're going to remain professional no matter what, we can get so much more done. Speaking kindly to people, it just works. You attract more bees with honey. It's just throw that saying out there. But I really hope that this video helped. Again, I want to encourage you all, if you have any questions, concerns, leave them on my website or leave them down below. Don't think there's a stupid question. In business, we all go through a lot of different experiences, whether we talk about them or not. And I created this channel so that I can share my experiences and insight with others. And also, I enjoy learning from you all too. When you reach out and you mention things under comments and you reach out via DMs or on websites, or on my website, excuse me, either one of my websites, badchickhair.com or keepingupwithbrittany.com. But don't be afraid to ask a question, because if you're thinking that, no one else is going through this, more than likely someone else is. I chuckled to myself when I got that question, because I'm like, I just experienced something like that. Just experienced something like that a few days ago, or actually it was last week. So you never know what someone's going through in their business, and all businesses are not perfect. Even huge multi-million-dollar businesses have issues they have to work through, and it's not about the issues that arise. It's about how you solve what's put in front of you. And then how you move forward to make sure that you're more diligent and more efficient and effective moving forward, so that some of those issues, mishaps won't ever occur again, or you can, minimize the chance of those occurring as much as you can. So I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. I do want to thank you for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye.